Okay, thank you for joining. We'll offer prayers and then we'll start. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chekshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavanda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I had my book here. Okay. Yeah. Let me share my screen. So it's a nice verse. 18th chapter Bhagavad Gita, 65th verse. Manmanabhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mamaivaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. Synonyms. Matmanaha, thinking of me. Bhava, just become. Madbhaktaha, my devotee. Matyaji, worship, my worshipper. Mam, unto me. Namaskuru, offer your obeisances. Mam, unto me. Eva, certainly. Eshasi, you will come. Satyam, truly. Te, to you. Pratijane, I promise. Priyaha, dear. Asi, you are. Me, to me. Translation. Always think of me. Become my devotee. Worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus you'll come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. Okay. One of you would like to read one of the paragraphs of the purport, and Esmati, go ahead.
The purport by His Divine Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Sri Prabhupada teacher. The most confidential part of knowledge is that one should become a pure devotee of Krishna and always think of him and act for him. One should not become an official meditator. Life should Life should be so molded that one will always have the chance to think of Krishna. One should always act in such a way that all his daily activities are in connection with Krishna. He should arrange his life in such a way that throughout the 24 hours he cannot but think of Krishna. And the Lord's promise is that anyone who is in such pure Krishna consciousness will certainly return to the abode of Krishna, where he will be engaged in the association of Krishna face to face. This most confidential part of knowledge is spoken to Arjuna because he is the dear friend of Krishna. Everyone who follows the path of Arjuna can become a dear friend to Krishna and obtain the same perfection as Arjuna. Hare Krishna. Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
so much, Mati. Mataji, would you like to read the second paragraph?
These words stress that one should concentrate his mind upon Krishna, the very form with two hands carrying a flute, the bluish boy with a beautiful face and peacock feathers in his hair. There are descriptions of Krishna found in Brahma Samhita and other literatures. One should fix his mind on this original form of Godhead, Krishna. He should not even divert his attention to other forms of the Lord. The Lord had multiforms as Vishnu, Narayan, Ram, Varaha, etc. But a devotee should concentrate his mind on the form that was present before Arjuna. Concentration of the mind on the form of Krishna constitutes the most confidential part of knowledge, and this is disclosed to Arjuna because Arjuna is the most dear friend of Krishna's. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Mataji. So this is one of the most important instructions are the essence of the entire Bhagavad Gita. Because you might remember this is the repetition of another verse in Bhagavad Gita, especially the first two lines are same in that verse also and this verse also. Ninth chapter, 34th verse and this verse also. So Krishna is repeating this. And just to have the context, overall in this chapter, before we came to 65th chapter, just before this, Krishna was explaining how one should surrender to Brahman, then how one should surrender to super soul as Paramatma, and then now he's going to the next level, highest level, which is so how is one should surrender to Bhagavan. That is the most important thing, like that is telling. So before we just shared this verse, let me briefly go to the previous verse once. Let me share my screen again. Yeah, previous verse. So what did Krishna say? Because you're my very dear friend, I am speaking to you my supreme instruction. That means the instruction, 65th verse. This is the previous verse. So he's giving the advertisement. Suno, listen, I'm going to tell you my supreme instruction like that. The most confidential knowledge of all. Hear this from me, for it is for your benefit. So he's announcing that you hear carefully. I'm going to tell you the most secret thing, most best instruction like that. And why am I doing that? Because you're my very dear friend. Like that is telling. Now in this verse, he's giving that secret. So essentially, I'll mention the essence of this verse and then we'll go into the details with purport of Srila Prabhupada. The essence of this verse is Krishna is telling Arjuna to do these four things. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. These are the four things he's asking him to do. And then he's giving a vow or declaration. Thus you'll come to me without fail. How is saying? I promise you this. That's the declaration. So, because you're my very dear friend. Again, so remember previous verse also, he said you're my very dear friend. That's why I'm giving you this supreme instruction as most secret like that. Also, he's telling because you made your very dear friend, I promise you that you'll come to me. So now, one may see these are the four instructions. Then why are we doing chanting? Why are we doing hearing? Why are we doing deity worship? Deity worship is included clearly here. All of them. So somebody may get doubt of that. But this is a representation of a life of devotion. Only when somebody is a devotee, then they will naturally think about Krishna because they have attraction for Krishna. That's why they think about Krishna. So, and of course, he already indicated, become my devotee. What does that mean? That means uh, we hear from Srimad Bhagavatam, there are 9 processes of devotion service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnusmaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam, like that. So we can perform any one of these or many of these or all of these in devotion service. So the chief aspects of these are Shravanam, that means hearing about the Lord, either hearing about the Lord's holy name, hearing about the Lord's pastimes, or hearing about the Lord's instructions. That is a hearing portion. Then is Kirtanam, that means chanting Krishna's holy name, chanting Krishna's pastimes, chanting about Krishna's form, Krishna's qualities, like that. And then Smaranam, remembering about Krishna. So Prabhupada writes in the Bhagavatam purport in 7th canto that when we do this Sravanam carefully and Kirtanam carefully, that means when we are doing hearing carefully and then chanting carefully about the Lord, then that leads to Smaranam, which is a remembrance of the Lord, like that. So it's not like I try to cultivate, remember Krishna, 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 like that. So by chanting more, by hearing more, that will lead to thinking more about Krishna, like that. Now, this thinking can be mechanically thinking. For example, Krishna says, I am the taste of the water. So when I'm drinking water, I'll remember, oh, Krishna said he's the taste of water. That's why water is tasty. That's a good practice and a starting practice or a starting step towards remembering Krishna. But more of this will come in every stage, and everything will come when we develop some attraction for Krishna, when we develop some attachment for Krishna. Because when I'm attached to my children, naturally I will think about my children. You might have noticed, even mother may be 70 years old or 75 years old, but then she's still so much attached to you, attached to her children. Even if the son is 40 years old, 50 years old, she will tell, okay, make sure you're not going in the cold, make sure you're covering the ears, make sure you're drinking milk every day, all the things. Why? Because she has so much attachment, affection, and love for the child. Similarly, and you might have seen this parent from parents again. So, mother will be waiting for the phone call from the child. We may be very busy with office work, very busy with our own children, our own family members, but mother will be waiting for a phone call to hear how is he, like that. So that's a because of the affection and love. Similar to that, when we develop similar attraction towards Krishna, attachment towards Krishna, gratitude towards Krishna, then we'll also naturally think about him always. So that is another aspect. I'll discuss all these things in detail, but I'll starting with the essence of this. So next is worship me. How do you worship Krishna? Krishna comes in the form of deity form to us. So worship Krishna in the deity form by decorating with flowers, decorating with ornaments, decorating with cloth, giving bath, and by offering foodstuffs for him. Like that, that's how we can worship Krishna in his deity form. And then, interestingly, out of everything, offer your homage unto me. Namaskaram is saying, offer your obeisances to me. Namaskuru, that is the word, right? Offer your obeisances to me. So, why is this essential? Is also in our devotional service, when we are offering obeisances before the Lord, we're actually submitting to the Lord that I am surrendering to you, my Lord. And then we're also saying that, my please give away my false ego. I surrender, because the head is the top of our whole body that represents our false ego. So we are saying my false ego is before you, before your lotus feet. So please accept my obeisances, like that. So that's so in that mood we are surrendering to Krishna, and that is the obeisances. In fact, you might know that when you pay obeisances to the elders, they want to do more for us, not less for us. We don't become small because we are paying obeisances to somebody. By paying obeisances to our parents, actually they feel more obliged to reciprocate, more obliged to bless us, more obliged to pray for us, like that. Because they feel that, oh, he's depending on me. I need to do something. Even though I don't know how to do, what to do, I'll at least pray for him. Krishna, please help him to be happy, like that. So, so surrendering obeisance is also is a sign of submission, sign of dependence on Krishna. So that I'm dependent on you. Please take care of me, like that. That's the other aspect being told. So here, let me go back to sharing the screen. So, so we talked about always think about me, become my devotee, worship me, and then offer homage to me. So when you do all these things, you come back to me. That is what Krishna is giving promise. Remember, we talked about 9th chapter, Krishna has given the same thing he told. But why is he repeating again? Somebody may get the doubt. If Arjuna is very intelligent, and in those days, everybody used to remember everything clearly, not like us. Previous verse, I don't remember what I read. But Arjuna's age, they were remembering everything. Why is Krishna repeating? There's one difference between that verse and this verse. Remember, in the 9th chapter verse, the last two lines are different between this and that, right? 9th chapter is telling, that verse is telling that, okay, maybe I'll pull up that 9th chapter verse also. 1 second. 1 minute. Let me share my screen. Okay, I'll open another tab with the 9th chapter verse. So you see, Manmana Bhav Madbhakto Madhyajimam Namaskuru. That is same. Mamevishyasi Yukta Evam Atmanam Matparayanaha. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Think of me. It's described like that in the 18th verse. Become my devotee, same thing. Offer obeisance to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. So if you notice, here Krishna is saying, when you are completely absorbed in me by doing these four things, that means by becoming my devotee, then you will come to me. So the action is initiated from devotee, from Arjuna's side. That's what is indicating in 9th chapter. Now the difference here is, thus you'll come to me without fail. I promise you this. Now he's assuring from his side that you'll come also. Not just he's telling that you do that, you'll come. Not like that. I promise you that you'll come, like that. That means some eagerness from his side is exhibited in this verse, or Acharya is described. That is one aspect. That means His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu describes one simple example for understanding this properly, for appreciating this well. He describes, let us say, two people are negotiating a contract, negotiating some terms of agreement. Then person A, person B. Person A may say, maybe I will become person A. I will say, you do all these things, then uh, I'll emphasize that actually I need to do certain things, certain terms, and he needs to follow certain terms. But I'll emphasize his terms. You need to do all these things properly, like that. So that is one way of describing, one way of dealing with it. Number one, option one. Now, option two is, I'll tell, instead of emphasizing you need to do this, I will emphasize, I'm going to do this, if you come to an agreement like that. That means I'm emphasizing what I can do from my side. So by doing that, I'm expressing that I'm eager to close this deal, close this agreement, like that. Because I'm telling I'm willing to do this. So when you go to shopkeeper, sometimes when they have a deal, they'll say, when you're thinking $1,000 furniture, when you're trying to think whether to buy or not, they'll say, you know what? Because I want to close the deal today, I will give you, along with this mattress, I will give you a cushion pad, or I'll give you a set of pillows free, because he's eager to close the deal. Similar to that, here Krishna is expressing his eagerness that I promise you that you'll come to me, like that. That is one aspect His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu describes. Another aspect he describes is, between 9th chapter and 18th chapter, Krishna describes so many different statements, so many different instructions, including what is suitable for Gnani also, what is suitable for Yogi also, not only Bhakti. So now Krishna is re-emphasizing Bhakti Yoga, re-emphasizing that instruction is for somebody else, this instruction is for somebody else, but I know you personally, for you this is the best. Like that, Krishna is clearly telling you. So then why did Krishna have to tell all those things? Because Krishna's giving of knowledge is very universal. That means I may be at the Karma Yoga level, somebody may be at Jnana Yoga, he can only accept Jnana Yoga, somebody else can only accept Ashtanga Yoga, they cannot accept Bhakti yet. So Krishna is giving instructions for everybody. But then Krishna understands Arjuna very well. That's why he's saying, because you are my very dear friend, because he knows Arjuna's heart very well, he's saying that for you, Bhakti Yoga is best. For you to surrender to Supreme Lord is the best. Like that, Krishna is emphasizing for clarity. That's why he's repeating second time from 9th chapter to this again, when he's summarizing the whole conclusion. In fact, this and the next verse is the whole conclusion of entire Bhagavad Gita. After that, he glorifies the person who glorifies the study of, like, what is the result of studying Bhagavad Gita, what is the result of preaching Bhagavad Gita, like that, this goes on. So we're in the last set of two instructions now. So basically, to give clarity is repeating the instruction, number one. Number two, to emphasize that, to give clarity means for you, this is best, like that. And then second is emphasizing that from his side, he's eager to receive Krishna, Arjuna, like that. Those are two reasons he's describing that. Now, Sri Prabhupada wrote wonderful purport. Okay, let us understand this a little bit more. Then he's saying the most confidential part of knowledge is that one should become a pure devotee of Krishna and always think of him and act for him. So this sentence is catching the essence of the whole verse. Basically, all the knowledge, remember previous verse says, Krishna says, I will give the most confidential part of knowledge. Now that's what Prabhupada is connecting from previous verse. That, what is the most important thing, most confidential part? That one should become a pure devotee of Krishna and always think of him and act for him. So, in this, act for him are included becoming my devotee, worshipping me, and offer homage unto me also. So that's why always think of him and act for him. So why is it confidential? We are all able to read. Anybody who picks up Bhagavad Gita can read. Why? Because everybody can hear, but they will not still get it. Even myself, I struggled for several years to understand what is bhakti, what is Krishna consciousness. Really, what does it really mean? So, because I didn't have enough Sukriti, but by some devotee's mercy, they gave me some mercy to understand little bit like that. So still I'm trying to understand bhakti and practice whatever I can understand like that. Similarly, if I don't have much Sukriti, then I will not understand easily also. So then what is required? Some mercy of a devotee in our life. That is required to understand this confidential part of knowledge like that. And even if somebody comes to Krishna consciousness, somebody may practice for some time, but still they may not get to the confidential part. They may think, I'll come to temple, I'll worship Krishna, so that my health is nice. I'll worship Krishna, so that my job is nice. I'll worship Krishna, so that way my family is nice. I'll worship Krishna, so that I'll get my promotion. I'll worship Krishna, so that I'll, I will influence a lot of people. I'll worship Krishna, so that everybody thinks I'm a great devotee. We might even be in that state also. That is why it's called confidential part to become a pure devotee. Pure devotee means Anya Vilashita Sunyam. Rupa Goswami describes this. Anya Vilashita Sunyam Gnana Karmadi Anavritam Anukulyena Krishna Anushilnam. Bhakti Ruttama. Basically, something where to do favorable service to Krishna to please him without any desire for fruitive activities, without any engagement of fruitive activities, or any knowledge, speculation, mental speculation we don't need to do. Without that, with only desire to please Krishna, we need to serve. That is a pure devotion. That's why he's saying that is the confidential part, which to be pure devotee, which is to think about him and act for him. How do we think about Krishna and act for Krishna? That by following the guidance of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. They're telling us every day you chant your rounds of the holy name, every day you chant your fixed number of holy names, like that. They're telling us. So we chant the fixed number of rounds of holy name every day. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then they're telling us every day you hear Bhagavatam, hear Bhagavad Gita. So we hear regularly. Every day you read scripture, we read scripture regularly, and then every day you offer something to Krishna, either fruits or flowers or water or at least prayers you offer to Krishna every day. So we follow that. Every day you offer obeisances to Krishna, we offer obeisances to Krishna. Like that, by following these things, naturally what happens is our heart will be purified, and by hearing regularly, by reading scriptures regularly, we develop some attraction for Krishna. Seeing how Krishna does different pastimes with different devotees, we develop some attraction to Krishna. And then we develop some faith for Krishna and Krishna's words also. So, because we develop that faith for Krishna and Krishna's words, then we start acting for Krishna. That means we'll develop that what is my purpose of life? We'll understand that when we read scriptures and hear scriptures. Purpose of life is to develop Krishna Prema. Why Krishna Prema? So that I can serve Krishna purely in pure devotion service. So that's the purpose we understand. Then we align all our activities in life, our thinking and acting, we align with that purpose in life. That means taking care of our health also, to be Krishna conscious, to serve Krishna. Taking care of our eating also to serve Krishna. Taking care of our family also is to serve Krishna. Like that, we adapt our life accordingly. That's what Prabhupada is describing here about acting for Krishna, whatever we do. So now, one should not become an official meditator. What is official meditator? Official meditator means I want to show off to everybody that I chant. But I'm not chanting to please Krishna. I'm not chanting to develop Krishna prema. I'm not chanting to purify my heart. So that is what is official mediator, official meditator. And then life should be molded so that one will always have the chance to think of Krishna. What does this mean? Life should be molded so that one will always have the chance to think of Krishna. That means, let us say I work for 20 hours a day. So I have only 4 hours left. What will I do in the 4 hours left? Purposefully, I'm exaggerating it so that way example is clear. So let us say I'm working for 20 hours a day. Then I have only 4 hours left. So I'll use the half an hour for eating, half an hour, 1 hour for another half an hour for cleaning myself, body and everything, and then another 2 hours for sleeping. Now, is there any time left for chanting? Is there any time left for hearing? Is there any time left for any reading scriptures? No. So let us say I'm working for 16 hours, but I have only 8 hours left. Even in that time, do I have sufficient time for sleeping, first of all? Do I have sufficient time for cook food, proper healthy food, and sufficient time to eat food, healthy food, sufficient time to do exercise, sufficient time to do spiritual activities? No. So, our life is a balance of our physical health, mental health, emotional health, and spiritual health. We should be able to take care of all of this. Why? Because if I only want to serve Krishna, I cannot serve if my physical health is not good, mental health is not good, emotional health is not good. That's why we take care of all of this. That means our day of 24 hours should have time for taking care of this, all the 4 aspects. That's what Prabhupada is saying. Our life should be molded in such a way that we can practice Krishna consciousness. So because I always tell, time, energy, and enthusiasm, these are the definite limited things we all have. So we need to conserve them. Time, energy, and enthusiasm, so that we can think of Krishna, so that we can serve Krishna. That is the point he's making. In this age, the best way to cultivate this thinking of Krishna, best way of developing this attraction for Krishna is by chanting the holy name and by reading or hearing Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam like that. So that's the best way we can cultivate the remembrance of Krishna. Let's go to the next sentence Prabhupada is saying. One should always act in such a way that is all his daily activities are in connection with Krishna. How can I do that? When I get up in the morning, I brush my teeth, I go to toilet, I take shower. How can I mold all those activities to be in connection with Krishna? Our senior devotees can train us. We hear from Nectar Devotion, one of the important instruction Nectar Devotion is, I cannot go before Krishna before brushing my teeth. So that means I need to brush my teeth so I can go before Krishna. And I want to cleanse myself, so I want to go before Krishna. And if I don't go to toilet, Nectar Devotion says that releasing gas before Krishna's deity is an offense. So that means I need to make sure I evacuate every day nicely. So that's also now brushing teeth is service to Krishna, evacuating service to Krishna, taking shower is service to Krishna, because I want to go before Krishna. I cannot go without being clean. So then that's also service to Krishna. So when I'm in that mood, like this for every activity that I'm doing, I want to serve Krishna. That is how I can cultivate my life to remember Krishna. So even eating, I'm cooking food. I want to cook nice food for Krishna. Like that. With that mood, I'm cooking. Then that becomes service to Krishna. That way I will remember Krishna. And then when I'm eating food, I want to be healthy so that I can stand for services. I can do service for a long time. Then I want to be healthy, so I want to eat healthy food. That also becomes remembrance of Krishna, cultivation, remembrance of Krishna, like that. So that's what Prabhupada is talking about. How one should act in such a way that all his daily activities are in connection with Krishna. Same principle Prabhupada, already Bhagavad Gita Krishna talked about in third chapter also. In several other chapters, Krishna talked about it. Basically, the point is that we need to see our daily life in connection with our purpose of life. Then, when we able to connect this daily activities to the purpose of life, then we can make all the choices properly. Otherwise, we don't make the choices properly. Now, uh, one should arrange the life in such a way that 24 hours we can think about Krishna. We talked about it already, how to do that. In fact, sleeping takes a major time. So before sleeping, I remember Krishna, and I want to take proper rest. So when I get up in the morning, I can chant nicely. With that mood, if you're taking rest, then that sleeping also becomes service to Krishna. And we should take sufficient rest, so that way we're not sleepy during the day. That sufficient rest also is service to Krishna, like that. And the Lord's promise is that anyone is such pure consciousness will certainly return to the abode of Krishna. What will happen when you go to Krishna? We'll engage in the association of Krishna face to face. That means we can serve Krishna face to face. But to get there, we need to do this every day, practice this every day now. And why did Krishna speak this conversational part? Because Arjuna is very dear friend of Krishna. But if we follow the same instructions of engaging in devotion service that Krishna gave to Arjuna, then we also can become a dear friend to Krishna. And not only that, we also get to perfection like Arjuna, like that. That's what Krishna Prabhupada is describing for us. So, some people may say, Prabhupada used to commonly say, oh, Arjuna is so fortunate. See, Krishna directly instructed him. That's why he could follow and achieve perfection. I am not, Arjuna, Krishna is not near me. So I don't get direct instruction. So I'm so unfortunate. Prabhupada used to say that instruction Krishna gave to Arjuna is available to all of us in the form of Bhagavad Gita. So when I follow that, then I'm also following Krishna's instruction directly. Then I'm pleasing Krishna directly. And when I follow instruction of Guru or Sadhu or Krishna, I get the mercy. How do you get the mercy of Krishna? By not giving $1, by following the instruction of Krishna. Of course, giving $1 is also an instruction of Krishna, because that is in 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, give, offer your work, offer your results of your work to me, like that. So, like that, we serve Krishna. So that's the first paragraph. Prabhupada is summarizing nicely how to follow this principle that Krishna is describing. Then Prabhupada is focusing on concentrating mind on Krishna. What Krishna? Not on Brahmajyoti, not on Paramatma, not on the four-handed form of Vishnu, but on the two-handed Shamasundar form of Krishna, where Krishna is bluish in form. Krishna is wearing a peacock feather in his head, in his hair, and then Krishna is playing a flute. That form of Krishna. And should we imagine, oh, Krishna may be like this, Krishna may be very strong, like a powerful wrestler. Should we imagine like that? No, we don't have to imagine, because literatures like Brahma Samhita, Srimad Bhagavatam, they are describing Krishna's personal form. So we can meditate in that Krishna form like that. And we have deity forms that are there in the temple. So we can see the deity form and meditate in the deity form also. That also gives the same result, because deity is not different from Krishna. So, and then Prabhupada is cautioning, especially because we are Gaudiya Vaishnavas. We follow Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We are coming in the Sampradaya of Lord Brahma, Madhvacharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami, Srila Prabhupada, like that, right? So, in our Sampradaya, we worship Krishna, we worship Radha Krishna, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. So, we worship in the mood to develop Krishna Prema. So, because our mood is that, we don't have to distract ourselves from other forms of Krishna. That doesn't mean it's not good at all for anybody else. But we focus on one form. So we have limited time, energy, enthusiasm. That's why we don't need to worship Vishnu, Narayana, Rama, Varaha, like that. But that doesn't mean we disrespect them. They are also Supreme Person of Godhead. So we pray for them. Whenever we come in front of them, we offer respects. We pray to them that please give me Krishna Prema, like that we pray. So that's the other point. Krishna Prabhupada is cautioning us. So that concentrating of the mind on Krishna is the most confidential part of this knowledge. And that is what Krishna is disclosing to Arjuna because he's the most dear friend. So the conclusion of this verse is Krishna is telling him that you become my devotee, you always think of me, you worship me and offer obeisance to me. I will promise you that you will come back to me. That means Krishna will give the necessary mercy. Krishna will give the necessary intelligence for us to take the next step and go back to him. So Krishna is promising us that we can also follow the path like Arjuna. Then in the next verse coming up, next week will be wonderful session where Krishna will instruct how um, Krishna will deal with Arjuna's doubts. Oh, if I have done all sinful activity, then how can I surrender? I cannot surrender. So what do? Maybe I should do some karma kanda. Maybe I should do some purification and come back to you. Maybe I'll wait for some time and come back to you. You'll answer that question also in next verse. We'll hear next week. Okay. So we'll pause here. Anybody has any comments or questions we can discuss? If you have any other sharings also from what you heard, what you read also, please feel free to share. Go ahead, Matai. Paramparmati.
Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yes.
What's the difference between mental health and emotional health?
Okay. Basically, mental health, generally, the way the differentiation is usually made with emotional health is easy to understand because we feel different emotions. For example, I'm feeling anger regularly or I'm feeling irritated regularly. That is related to mental health, emotional health. I'm feeling anger feelings are coming, or I'm feeling insufficient, I'm feeling depressed, like that feelings are coming, right? They're both interlinked. That's what is made by emotional health. So, how do we take care of emotional health? By understanding our emotions. And when we are feeling those emotions, we understand them and we try our best to understand others' emotion. Everybody is not gifted with that strength, but we'll do our best. And then accordingly, we deal with others. For example, if I'm feeling angry, then I don't need to deal with others right now. I will calm down for now. That means I understand my emotions and do the appropriate thing like that. Then that is the immediate circumstance. But then we need to also address what is the underlying reason for that emotion. Why am I feeling angry? I'm feeling angry because she's not listening to me. So why do you feel angry? Because she's not listening to me? Because I want to control. I want everybody to listen to me only. That means I have the controllership attitude. So I need to understand that I cannot control everyone. Krishna is the supreme controller. I cannot control everybody. I cannot even control my emotions. I can understand if I become angry. So like that, we need to understand deeply and work on it. That's the emotional health portion. And of course, these are spiritual aspects and some practical aspects also we can do. And then mental health is like positive thinking versus negative thinking is one simple example to understand mental health. That means I'll think about every time let us say somebody doesn't say Hare Krishna to me, then I'll think, okay, they're not being nice to me. I think they don't like me. I think they hate me. Like that, I'll start thinking. That is negative thinking. Positive thinking can be, oh, they didn't say Hare Krishna. Either they did not hear Hare Krishna, one possibility. Second possibility is they suddenly had something tragic happening in their life. Suddenly they are faced with some panic. They're already in trauma. What do they think about me? They have to think about themselves only right now. So there can be many possibilities that are happening in person's life because of which they're not relating to me properly in this particular circumstance. So that can be positive thinking. Another way of positive thinking is, I know this person last 5 years, he always said Hare Krishna to me every time I met. This is the only one time today he didn't say Hare Krishna to me. So I can see that. I can see, oh, that means something is different today. Let him take care of himself. Like that. If I have negative thinking, then I will think, one time also he does, see, he became so proud. All these years he's saying Hare Krishna, but yesterday he must have got something nice. Now he doesn't care about me anymore. Like that, I'll get negative thinking. That's one example. Another example of mental health is also Like I get irritated with others, I cannot work with others, and more serious issues is I blame others for everything, like that. So all those are mental health items also. So the
Mhm.
way we take care of it is observe our thoughts. That is the way we take care of mental health also. Observe our thoughts, for example. And then physical health, we know that taking care of the body, external body, in terms of good food, regulated schedule, and then proper sleep and regulated exercise, like that kind of things.
And spiritual health is connectedness with Krishna.
Pardon?
And spiritual health is feeling connected to Krishna or not.
Yes,
That's
absolutely. Yeah, connecting to Krishna, seeing our, being able to recognize our relationship with Krishna, being
mm,
engaged in our relationship with Krishna. Then by doing that, we improve our spiritual health, and by associating with devotees,
mm.
like that, we reading scriptures, hearing scriptures, like that, we'll improve our spiritual health. Any other comments or questions, anyone?
Prabhuji,
Hmm?
one more question.
Hmm?
In the purport, as you mentioned that the- in this context, Srila Prabhupada told that our life should be molded in such a way so that we can always uh, think of Krishna. Uh, and you also give the example of if I work for 16 hours, if my work is too demanding, uh,
Yeah.
then, then like uh, so my question is like now like in my life I'm going through two demanding situations, so I'm trying my best. But from inside, I'm feeling like to give up it. So it's like, how should I think? But I'm feeling like I don't need to do PhD and all. Probably I can do some other job or just leave the uh, program by taking master's degree and then get into some job like work from home, scientific editor job, do some other courses to get the job and just get settled. It's becoming too hectic for me to do the PhD and the demands of peer pressure, PI pressure, and plus political lab politics pressure is just getting out of my, like, I never tried to control anything of all those things, but still, uh, uh, in a, we always want little peaceful so that we can focus on our devotional practices, reading scripture, hearing lectures, and thinking higher things than these stupid things that people always make. Uh, so, how to avoid, or what should be my thought process now? Like,
Hmm. Yeah, nice question. So basically, one thing to remember is every time we make a decision,
mm,
every time we make an act based on the decision, then we need to own the responsibility for the result of that actions and the
yes, yes,
decisions. Yeah.
yes,
So that
yes,
means where we are right now is based on
mm,
the past decisions we made in life. For example, after 10th grade, I came to the science direction. That's why I'm
mm,
here now. After that, I made a decision to join PhD. That's why I'm here now.
mm,
So I need to understand. And that's okay because we make a decision at any point in life based on what we know is to be best at that point of time for what we know as the purpose of life at that time.
mm,
So, for example, 30 years from before now, my purpose of life was not to please Krishna. My purpose of now life was not to get Krishna Prema. My
mm,
purpose of life was to be earn enough money so that I can live happily and take care of my family happily. That was the purpose of my purpose of life. Nothing more than that. So now I made certain decisions based on that now. So now my purpose of life has changed. So now I need to adapt my life slowly, gradually, based on where I am right now, in a not in a haphazard manner, not in a abrupt manner, but in a systematic, slowly, gradually, to align to the purpose of life. So that is one principle we need to remember. That means no abrupt changes, no sudden changes, just because we realize the purpose of life changed suddenly on us. Number one. Okay. That is one principle. No abrupt changes. Now, second thing is, how do we gradually change? That two things. One is, how do we manage now in this situation right now? That we need to figure out by consulting people who have been in similar situations. Somebody who is a devotee who has done PhD like you, who is probably, I'm thinking all PhDs are like the pressure like you. If that is the case, how do we handle that? Like that. That we can consult. That one. So that way we can figure out what to do currently now. Then, so, and the third thing is, what can I do to prepare for future like you're thinking? That's a good thinking also. So you can think. And that future decisions, future path can be charted based on how much you already went, how much more left in PhD, for example, how much more time is left in PhD, how much more effort is left in PhD. And after you make that effort, let us say 1 year or 2 year, you make that effort. After that, is it still aligned with plan of life or not, purpose of life or not? Based on all those things, you will decide whether to keep on going in the path or change the path, like that. But no sudden decisions, no abrupt changes. That is what your speech master. For example, my speech master one time was discussing. Somebody had a job to work in McDonald's, supporting software programs for McDonald's, for example, who are actually killing cows like that, or some intoxication, some alcohol factory. I read program software programming for alcohol factory, for example. That is directly opposing the four regulative principles. Then speech master doesn't advise them, oh, it's violating the four regulative principles. Tomorrow morning you stop going to office. No. Says you gradually make a plan to get trained yourself, to find the right path for you, and then gradually shift like that. If such extreme situations that are violating four regulative principles, speech master is not telling you to stop right now. So in your case, it's PhD, you don't have to think like that. So now you need to figure out how to manage your workload, to still align, still you have a time left for spiritual life, time left for your physical health and mental health and emotional health also. Because if health is not well, I cannot do spiritual things also, I cannot do PhD also. So always health comes first. So like that, we need to think and then see what I can do in this circumstance to reduce my workload. Is there any possibility? For example, I go to my office and for example, my personal example, right? I used to work like before marriage. I used to work like I'm always on call basically. Basically, I used to be a technical subject matter expert. So my colleagues used to call me anytime, a day, even late night also. Any doubts they have, I clarify like that. So I used to work like that anytime before marriage. Then when I heard that I need to get married, I want to get married, then a wife will come. Then I need to spend time with the wife. Then I need to prepare for marriage. So what I did, I slowly cut down my hours before marriage in preparation for marriage. That means now I started coming home early. Not that anybody, nobody's there at home, I can come anytime. I didn't think like that because I want to prepare for marriage. So I came earlier. I practiced like that. Then that helped me to transition the marriage life. Then slowly, when I became Krishna conscious, slowly I understood that I don't need to keep on working, keep on working, keep on working. Whether I work 10 hours, 12 hours, 8 hours, when the company doesn't have budget, they'll throw me away anyway. But if I do my 8 hours properly, then they will keep me anyway. Whether they're keeping me or throwing me away is not dependent on them only. It's Krishna's mercy ultimately. If they throw away, I'll get another job. In my situation, everybody's situation is different. So then that reconciled me to slowly align myself, because I'm working in the same company for now 24 plus years now. So now I seen like 8 managers already. So then I slowly learned how to manage with managers. Meaning, I tell managers the moment my manager comes, I tell him I my life work-life balance is important for me. I like working from home. Please, I hope you can support me. That is one of the first topic I talk in my one-on-one. So
Yeah, go ahead, Professor.
yeah, like that you can adjust accordingly. Basically, whatever you can do based on your circumstance, I do not know. Yeah.
I told like my lab members or PI knows that I'm practicing something a little different from what they know, and also my mornings are very important for my personal health. That I told them that
Mm,
my morning is very important for my mental health.
mm.
So they do not understand spiritual health.
That's okay.
Like
Yeah.
that's why I told it I do some meditation kind of thing. So that is required for my me to be productive
Very nice.
in the workplace. So
Yeah.
it's like related. So but I tried explain uh, things in their language, uh, you know, but still sometimes the demand comes from PI uh, that you should be here by 9, and you know by 9 it is very difficult for me get waking up, then chanting, then doing some Bhagavatam class, then cooking, offering, having prasadam, and like it is difficult little bit, but that's why my practice is to reach the lab by 10.
Mm,
So just 1 hour. So sometimes they just tell that no by 9. Like they, I don't know. Many people come to the lab like very late, like around 12, and leave by 3.
mm,
Like I try to give all 8 hours, 8+ hours, but
mm,
still sometimes I don't know why some demands come. Even I took a holiday for Radharani's appearance day,
mm,
Radhashtami,
mm,
the Wednesday. And I was telling my PI that I will not be coming on Wednesday because I had one of my friend's birthday.
mm,
Well, she, she was smiling first, like before I told this. But when I told this, she immediately got very serious. Okay, like like that. It never stopped me, but I got the impression or the mood or kind of thing. I understood that she didn't like that I am taking a day
mm,
off. So these all those things my mom says to ignore, but I it gives me some pressure. Like I cannot, like
no.
it gives me some mental pressure. It's
Ah.
like if like someone is not talking bad to me, but still the way you said soon, like mental health, thinking negative, positive.
Mm, mm,
Probably I think negative little bit because my mental health probably little poor. So I take some pressure on me that
mm.
oh how like yes tomorrow yesterday everything was fine and today everyone is talking differently with me. Oh what happened? Kind
Yeah,
of thing.
that's okay. Yeah. Then what we do there for that is, when you have this circumstance like this, we need to learn how to process this internally for ourselves. How to act externally is one thing. So two things for this example you gave. There, like this, you can learn throughout the life, of course. So basically, what do you learn externally to how do we act externally with her next time with my PI? Second is how do you process internally that, like that, two things. So internally is their their thought process and their goal in life, their purpose is life is different, which is to make money, become famous, whatever that purpose of life has to be happen to be. Okay. So for that purpose, they will do all sorts of things that they want to do. And they think I'm also supposed to do the same thing because they
Yes.
think my value is also that. But they don't understand my value is not that. So when we understand that, then we see I can understand why others think like that. That is one way we need to understand. That means we are understanding where others are coming from. So then we don't mind even if they say something rude like, why do you want to waste time going to temple? Why do you want to waste time meditating? Why do you want to waste time in home instead of making money at the office? They can make anything. From their perspective, is correct. That's okay. From their perspective, it makes sense. For their values, it makes sense. For their purpose and goals, it makes sense. That is one aspect we can take. Second is, for anyone, friend's birthday is not significant to take office leave for most people. So sometimes we need to learn to shield uh, our internal what we are doing, the reason we are doing, which you try to do already. The way we can do it is can slowly get the relationship to such a stage that we don't have to give the reason why. Actually, I need to learn a lot from my son. He teaches me. So I don't have to tell everybody. Okay, for example, somebody asks me something. I don't have to tell, oh, I cannot do this because I have to do this. I don't have to tell them that. My son teaches me that, yeah, I cannot do it. Sorry. Enough. I don't have to explain. I cannot do this because I want to do this, because I have to do this. No, I don't have to explain to everybody. So we can get to slowly that level of engagement with others. Then you don't have to explain even reason also. You can say, I really have I really have to be at a commitment tomorrow. Sorry, I'm not able to make it. That's it. Then what commitment, God knows. And in this country, you're not supposed to ask also much personal details. I don't know.
Yes.
You can, yeah. For example, in my company,
They,
the rules say,
they always ask me like why my generally like if my PI is not, other will ask on behalf of her and will inform her
oh,
like
oh,
uh,
slowly. So slowly you can manage that with others also. How to be discreet like
mm,
that. If you have to give something like this, okay. Like for example, that's okay. For example, in my company, if a contractor reports to me, I'm supposed he says I'm sick, I'm not coming. I'm not supposed to ask what happened, what happened. No, that means I'm eligible to be taken off from the company right away. So my manager cannot ask me what sickness, nothing. If she has doubt that I'm regularly keeping sick leave, she can go through HR. HR can probe, ask me what is going on. Are you having some serious illness? Like that, they can ask me. So these are protection laws are there. But more than that, we can learn to. It takes time to improve. For example, I also am still learning. Like I told you, I also learn to give reasons for why I'm not able to do something if somebody asks. But you don't have to give. Yeah, like that. But slowly we can learn to engage with relationships. So with for what purpose? So that we can work on our own goals. Yeah. So there's a reading class starts at 8:30 now.
okay,
So we
Professor.
can drop today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bhagavad ki
Thank
jai,
you
Srila
so much.
Prabhupada
Yeah.
ki jai.
Yeah.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kupasindubhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo namah. Thank you, devotees. Hare
Shri
Krishna.
Sundarananda Prabhuji ki jai.